in this recording, I'm going to be going over the test for chapters 1 through 6 for the boy in the striped pajamas. What you need to be sure you're doing is that you're using your notes, your PowerPoints, your study guides, your book. You can take this test twice, and the highest score will be taken. So take your time. If you have any questions, send me a message, and I'll be glad to go over anything that you need help on. So number 1, what are you doing? He asked in as polite a tone as he could muster, for although he wasn't happy to come home and find someone going through his possessions, his mother had always told him that he was to treat Maria respectfully. Based on the passage, what does the word muster mean? For this question, all you have to do is you have to take the choices and put them in where the bolded word is. So, what are you doing? He asked in as polite a tone as he could taste. What are you doing? He asked in as polite a tone as he could smell. What are you doing? He asked in as polite a tone as he could collect. Or, what are you doing? He asked in as polite a tone as he could skip. Out of all of those choices, which one makes the most sense? Number 2, who is Bruno? Is he a soldier? Is he the father in the story? Is he the boy in the story? Or is he the main character's best friend? Number 3 is a true or false question. True or false? Mother is happy about the move the family made. A, true. B, false. C, neutral. She's neither happy nor sad. Alright, so you would only select C if you believed she was okay with the move. It didn't bother her. Alright. Number 4 said, what would most readers infer about Bruno and his family based on the passage? And the passage is, Mother sighed and looked around the room as if she might never see it again. It was a very beautiful house and had 5 floors in total, if you included the basement, where Cook made all the food and Maria and Lars sat around the table arguing with each other. Alright, for this question, you cannot infer things that are not there. There is nothing in this sentence that talks about the children. So any answer choice that has to do with the children, you can't select that because there's no information in that passage about the children. What does the passage say? And based on only what it says, what can you infer? So can you infer that the family is rude and the children are snobbish? Does anything in that passage make you think that they've done something to be rude and snobbish? B, the family is quite wealthy. They appear to have a lot of money. Does something in this passage make you think that? C, the family lives in a large city. Is there any information in that passage about where the house is and where they live? And D, the family owns a hotel. Is there any information in this passage that would indicate that this is a hotel? If you get number 4 wrong and you can't figure it out, you need to justify your answer to me. You can send me an email and say, Ms. Vaughn, I think the answer is blah, blah, blah. I think that's the answer because blah, 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 and blah. I've always said if you can prove it to me and you can explain your thought process to me, I'll give you credit. And that does not change just because we are doing e-learning. Alright, so number 5 is talking about literary devices, and you get to choose 2. Alright, so let's look at the 2 that they are talking about. So you've got a simile. Alright, similes compare with, like, and as. So you're going to look at the sentence and say, is something being compared? And if it is, does it have the words like or as in it? Your other choice is a metaphor. A metaphor basically is the same thing as a simile, except it does does not use like or as. Right? So when you're reading it, say, hey, is this comparing like or as? Or is this comparing using like or as? Alright? Your other choice is this it's a hyperbole and imagery. So hyperbole is an exaggeration. Hyperbole is an exaggeration. So that's something like, I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. Could you really eat a whole horse? That sort of thing. So ask yourself, what is it comparing? Does it compare using like or as? And is it an exaggeration? The other is imagery. Alright. Imagery uses words to create an image in your mind. It talks about the 5 senses: taste, touch, smell, hear, and sight. Alright, so as you're reading that passage, ask yourself, is this being very descriptive and detailed? Can I see this happening in my mind, or is this more of an exaggeration? And again, you get it wrong and you just don't know the answer, send me an email with your justification explaining your answer. Alright, so the passage is, say goodbye to them, he repeated, sputtering out the words as if his mouth was full of biscuits that he had munched into tiny pieces but had not actually swallowed yet. Is that a simile and a hyperbole? Is that simile and imagery? Is that metaphor and imagery? Or is that a metaphor and hyperbole? You can go ahead and eliminate 2 choices. Once you've decided whether it's a simile or a metaphor, you're good. Then you have to decide whether it's a hyperbole or imagery. And go back to what we were talking about earlier, how a hyperbole is an exaggeration and imagery creates an image. It's very detailed. Number 6. Who is Gretel? Bruno's sister, Bruno's babysitter, father's secretary, or father's mother? Who are Maria and Lars? Bruno's best friends, the family maid and butler, Gretel's best friends, or the family cousins? Which of the following sentences is correctly written? Your uncle is my dad's brother. My mother is at home. Your dad is a very nice man. Or did you see your mom today? For that one, this is where we talked, there's a PowerPoint about capitalizing family names such as mom and dad. And remember, if it takes the place of their name, capitalize it. So that's like if I were saying, Mom and I like cookies. Right? Mom is what I call her. She's Mom to me. That's her name. Her real name might not be Mom. My mom's name is Brenda. So if I were going to say her name in the sentence instead of Mom, if I would capitalize it there, then I'm going to capitalize the mom. But if I'm just going to say, your dad is nice, I'm not saying that his name is Dad. I am saying that that is your dad. So I'm not calling him Dad. That's not his name. If I'm not calling him that, I would say if I would say that's your dad or my dad did something, that's not his name in that sentence. I couldn't say my Richard went to, that wouldn't make sense. So I'm not going to capitalize it there. So maybe in this case, you're not looking at something that needs to be capitalized. Maybe you're looking for something that has just been done correctly. Did they capitalize mother or dad or mom correctly in those sentences? And you have to pick out which one was done correctly. Again, if you're confused, send me an email. I'll gladly help. What can the reader infer based on the following passage? Again, inferring. You can't say something unless you have a reason to say it. So you can't say it's about aliens if there's nothing in the sentence about aliens. So, the passage is, well, I don't like the way we have to turn all the lights off at night now, he admitted. Everyone has to do that, said Mother. It keeps us safe, and who knows, maybe. So, what can we infer based on that? They're talking about having to keep the lights off at night. So, can we infer that the family is poor and needs to save energy? The family is hiding from the government. The family is trying to become accustomed to what it is like to be blind. Or the family is in some sort of dangerous situation. Look at this right here. You need to look at that part right there to help you make an informed decision. Alright, number 10. Why does the family have to move out of their home and away from Berlin? Is it because they've been evicted from their house? Is it because Gretel has been accepted at a very important school in another town? Is it because Father's employer needs him to go somewhere else to perform a special job? Or is it that the family is moving to a larger home in a different neighborhood? Number 11. What does Bruno notice that all of the people outside of his window are wearing? Jeans and a sweatshirt, gray striped pajamas and a gray striped cap, flannel pajamas and bedroom shoes, orange striped pajamas and tennis shoes. Alright, look at the book and ask yourself, what is the book saying? Alright? Okay. Number 12. What can we infer about Father from this passage? Alright, some more inferencing. Father held a hand in the air, which immediately caused the other men to fall silent. It was as if he was the conductor of a barbershop quartet. What can we infer about this? Can we infer that he is a barber? Can we infer that he is in a musical quartet and very musically gifted? Can we infer that he is very powerful and respected? Or is it that he is somewhat of an airhead and cannot follow through with the simple tasks? Alright, think about this question. While it does say things like barbershop and quartet, is that what it's telling you about Father, or is that more of a comparison of Father? He sticks his hand up in the air and immediately everyone goes to sleep. Falls silent. Everyone falls silent. So think about what that might mean about his personality. To be an airhead means that you're not very smart. Alright. 13. What type of figurative language is used in this sentence? As they left, they stood in a row together like toy soldiers, and their arms shot out in the same way that Father had taught Bruno to salute. So are we talking about a hyperbole, an idiom, a metaphor, or a simile? Remember, an idiom is an expression, a common expression, meant to, not meant to be taken seriously. Alright, so, like, it's raining cats and dogs. Is it? Is it really raining cats and dogs? That sort of thing. Alright. Oh, number 14 kind of gives it away a little bit. What is being compared with this figurative language? Are we comparing the soldiers to toy soldiers? Are we comparing the soldiers' arms to palm trees? Are we comparing the soldiers to Bruno, or is nothing being compared? And then the last question. Based on the chapters we've read so far, we can infer exactly what type of soldiers Bruno observes. What type are they? Are they Confederate soldiers? Are they Indian soldiers? Nazi soldiers? Or Union soldiers? Okay, guys. What have we been talking about for the past 2 months now? I don't remember us reading a book on the Civil War, so that would eliminate 2 of those answers. And I don't know that we've read a book at all that had to do with India. So maybe process of elimination could be useful here. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll gladly help you in any way I can. Do your best. You get 2 shots, and hopefully, you'll do a great job.